Darra'S Coffin by Roger Woodcock.
I don't quite recognise that, Terry, boyo. Bit of Rimsky-Korsakov, is it?
Nah, Mr. Evans, it's the Grateful Dead. Got all their CDs I have.
Go down well with the clients, or that.
Thanks, Mr. Evans.
Do we know what sort of coffin Mrs. D's chosen yet, lad?
Not yet, boyo, but knowing Winnie, it'll not be top of the range. Always canny with Darra'S money was Winnie.
Must have been a shock for her, him going like that.
Expect she shed a few crocodile tears while she was going through his bank statements.
Suppose it's how Darra'S would like to have gone marching out with that fancy cane of his in front of the funeral. Mind, it must have been a big shock for poor Billy Darra'S dropping down dead in front of the hearse like that.
Must have been a bigger shock when Billy ran over him.
Well, it happened so quick. Billy thought his suspension had gone.
Heart attack, the doc reckoned. Mind, I don't suppose 2 broken legs and a crushed spine help much.
Billy's missus reckons he's really cut up about it.
Bound to be, boyo. Mind, there was a rumour he was on his mobile phone to his bookies. I reckon that's just tittle-tattle, but... well, we all know what Billy's like when it comes to the GGs.
Well, it must have been awful for Mrs. Parsons.
Very upset she was. What with Darra'S going under the wheels and then Mr. Parsons shooting out the back of the hearse like that. He was a big bloke, too, Clem. Took 4 passing dustbin men to get the coffin onto the pavement. Then they had to wait for the backup hearse.
Caused chaos at the church, apparently. Made the vicar late for his first gay wedding.
She's always been all right with me as Mrs. Driscoll.
That's what I like about you, Cherry. Always up with a conversation.
I'd only been here for a day or so when she said she hoped I was settling in. And if there was anything I needed, to let her know.
Probably heard about your big brush handle, boyo.
What would she be interested in my brush handle for, Mr. Evans?
She's always been interested in anything big as Mrs. D.
Come here and have a cup of your pillock before it goes cold in the pot.
Do you reckon things will change, Glad? You know, that Mrs. D is in charge?
Your guess is as good as mine, boyo. Apart from spending poor Darra'S hard-earned cash, she hasn't exactly been hands-on when it comes to the business, has she?
Surprised, really. Darra'S leaving all this to her, especially after, well, you know.
He always did have a blind spot when it came to Winnie. He once told me she'd made him the happiest man in the world. She knew she was on to a good thing. Bloke with his own business, big house up Tanner Avenue, BMW. There only one way it were going to end, when he set his cap at her.
Still, catching her out with that rugby player can't have been very nice for him.
I've no doubt she spun him a yarn, stuck her chest in his face, promised to take him to paradise, stuff like that.
She likes cats. She said she had one called Blackie and asked her what colour it was. She just laughed and said I was, something tonic.
Don't be afraid to say it. We all know Mrs. D can be a bit Anglo-Saxon when it comes to the English language. Now, how about shifting some of them shavings from under my bench?
Yes, Mr. Evans.
Well, really need to know about the coffin. What with the funeral being next week and everything.
I expect she'll be bringing our wage packets this afternoon now that Darra'S gone. I'll have a quiet word.
My granddad had an oak coffin with gold handles. He liked gold. Always wore these bright yellow necklaces round his neck. My Auntie Pauline said he reminded her of a bloke she once bought a second-hand car off. That's when she was younger, of course, because she must be nearly 70-something now.
Bloody hell, Terry, you sound like my missus. She can rabbit for the whole of the street sometimes.
I wouldn't want a woman that was always going on. Like a bit of peace and quiet when I get home of an evening.
Trouble is, you ain't got no one to keep you warm in bed, have you?
Got a 20-tog duvet. That'll do me, boyo.
My mum says I talk a lot. You do though, don't you? When you've got something important to say.
Don't you ever miss it, lad? You know, married life.
Can't miss something that you've never had, can you, boyo? I suppose I miss not having kids. My sister's got 2 lads. She brings them round most weekends, leaves them while she pops out to a bit of window shopping. Lively little buggers, both of them. But we have a great time. Did I ever tell you I got this model railway, built it in the attic a few years back? The lads love it, playing with the signals, shunting coal wagons into sidings, operating the automatic crossing gates. Time just flies by. I'm always surprised when I hear the front door and it's Doreen back from her shopping.
Yeah, well, Brenda's not keen on kids. He says that it's too messy and noisy, I said to her. I said, good job our folks don't think that way, else neither of us would be here. She says she might think about something in a year or 2.
I could propose to Winnie. What do you reckon? Tea on the table when I get home from this place. Comfy bunk up after my hot chocolate. Joint owner of Driscoll's funeral directors. Got a lot going for it, I reckon.
Bloody hell, lad. She would have you in one of those coffins inside 6 months.
You're probably right. Jimmy, landlord of the Goat and Compass, reckons her bedroom's full of erotic books. I thought it best not to ask how he knew, him being built like one of his beer barrels. Heaven knows what Darra'S thought about a load of mucky books lining his bedroom walls, because he could be a bit straight-laced. No, I reckon I'll stick to my Mark's dinners for one, and a quick play with myself after lights out.
That's why your glasses are like bottle bottoms, isn't it?
Cheeky sod.
My mum bought me some books when I was little. It was by Enid somebody. They're up in the loft now. Mum says they'll come in handy when I have kids of my own.
Should be antiques by then, boyo.
You reckon, Mr. Evans? Worth a bit, aren't they, antiques?
Well, you'll be able to give up work, son, and sail around the world.
Nah, can't stand being on a boat. Went on this boat trip once, round some island somewhere to look at some pug-ugly bloody seals. Anyway, it was that rough I was sick all over the baby, what was in mother's arms. Carrot soup, I think it was. It was orange anyway.
I went on a ship once. Cruise it was. Full of toffee-nosed gits in penguin suits, all yabbering about the FT index. Insisted on taxes every time we docked at a new location. I don't reckon they ever set foot on foreign soil, except when they climbed on and off the gangplank. I go to Blackpool every year now.
Brenda says she wants to go to Rome or Florence. I reckon it's so she can ogle all those Roman statues with their todgers on display.
I saw Michelangelo's statue of David in Florence a year or 2 back. I reckon he must have been queer, chiselling all them nude blokes. Bet he took days doing their private parts, chipping away with his little hammer and chisel.
Perhaps Mrs. D gives us a pay rise. Well, what do you reckon, then, Glad?
The only rise you'll get is if she puts her polished fingernails down the front of your grubby overalls.
Oh, I live in hope. Oh, give us a hand to put this on the floor, Terry. You must have made 100 of these over the years, Glad.
Oh, got to be 4,500, give or take.
Go on, really? You've knocked up 4,000 of these?
1967 I joined Driscoll's. It was Devlin, Darra'S old man, that ran the business then, and Billy Meadows was in charge of the workshop. He taught me everything there was to know about coffin making. Different woods, linings, the way the grain ran, the different types of handles. I remember the first one I made on my own. It was for a poor lad that had been killed in a motorbike accident. I'll never forget the kid's dad coming into the workshop while I was making the coffin. I've never seen anyone so cut up, not in all the time I've been doing the job. Before he left, he put his hand on my shoulder and he thanked me. Can you imagine? Thanking me for helping put his son in the ground. Strange, really. But that's when I knew this was the job I wanted for the rest of my life. Old man Driscoll used to have an advert on the safety curtain at the old Roxy. I laugh when I think about it now. Bury with confidence. Satisfaction is our byword. All sizes catered for.
What was the Roxy, Mr. Evans?
Flea pit of a cinema on Somersault Street. I used to go on a Saturday with my granddad. Roy Rogers, Gabby Hayes, Gene Autry. The singing cowboy, they called him. You saw them all at the Roxy. Besides a bloody car showroom now.
My dad bought a car once. Said he would take us all on holiday in it, but he drove off to work one morning and we never saw him again.
That's something out for you.
Mum had a letter from him a month later saying he was starting a new life in Wigan.
Can anybody start a new life in Wigan?
Have they still got a pier?
Funny thing that, but there never was a pier. Not like Brighton or Weston-super-Mare. It's just a coal-loading jetty on a canal. Story goes that someone was looking out of a train window on a foggy day and asked where they were, and were told they were passing Wigan Pier. George Formby's dad made it famous in the music halls, and then young George incorporated it into one of his songs.
Crikey, lad. Right bloody know, aren't we?
Well, whilst you're getting a leg of yours over your missus, boyo, I'm trolling through Google.
Sad.
Morning, boys. Hard at bleeding work, are we?
Morning, Winnie. Glad you could drop by at such a sad time. Much appreciated.
Oh, life goes on, Gladwin. Life goes on. Darra wouldn't want you boys to go without your wages now, would he? It was his life, you know, this place. I used to say to him, Darra, I said, you're working too hard. You'll end up in a fucking early grave. Oh, and you know what he said? He said, Winnie, I'm doing this for you, so you can have a comfortable life after I'm gone. Oh, he was a good man, was my Darra, God rest his soul.
Yes, we'll all miss him. We've been wondering, Winnie, about the coffin.
You couldn't get me a drink, could you, Terry pet? Only I'm that bleeding parched. Must be the fucking sawdust in here or something.
Oh, well, would you like a cup of tea, Mrs. Driscoll, or a coffee? We've got a new jar of Nescafe out the back, I think.
Don't suppose you've got a drop of gin, have you, darling?
Gin? No, I don't think.
Come on, Winnie, you know Darra never allowed drink on the premises.
Oh, tea bloody total, right up to the end. How is poor Billy, by the way?
Oh, he's off work with stress. I could give you his address if you like. Sure, a visit would cheer him up.
Yeah, well, I'll see what I can do with that. I'm run off me bleeding feet what we're sorting Darra'S papers out and a funeral and everything. Now, pet, that drink.
Tea or coffee, Mrs. Driscoll?
Well, in the absence of a little pick-me-up, coffee would be very welcome, pet. Barry, innit?
It's Terry, Mrs. Driscoll. Remember you once?
Terry, of course, yeah. 2 sugars, pet, steady on the milk.
I'm sorry to go on, Winnie, but if you could let us know, the coffin.
Oh, coffin, choffin. Just do something tasteful, Gladwin, there's a good lad. Now, before I forget, wage packets. G. Evans, T. Hillman, T. Penis. My God, surely that's not the boy's surname.
Penwis, Mrs. Driscoll. It's Terry Penwis.
Oh, yeah, of course, I can see it now. Sometimes I just say the first thing that comes into me bleeding head.
I can believe that.
I'll give it to the lad when he's made your drink. So, something in oak, perhaps.
Oh, I don't know, really. That looks fine, what do you think?
Well, yes, it's okay. It's one of our economy range.
Well, that's settled then. Darra always said it's not what they carry you off in, but what's inside that matters. Except Darra always tried to sell his customers top of the range, isn't that right, Gladwin?
Always a businessman first, was Darra.
Oh, I do hope it's a nice day. Food for the funeral. Michael's doing me hair. I do like to look me best for these occasions.
We'll all pray for sunshine, Winnie.
Oh, sweet of you, pet.
Just one last thing. The handles.
Oh, look, I'll leave it up to you, Gladwin. Darra used to say bronze looked good on a sunny day. Like gold, apparently.
That's true, I suppose.
Well, that's it then. All for show, innit, at the end of the day. Bit like silk flowers. I was in the florist the other day, and do you know, I could have sworn the irises on the counter were real, but no, fucking artificial, every one of them.
Thought you liked a piece of my mum's cream cake, Mrs. Driscoll. Bakes every Thursday, she does. Except when it's the pensioners' lunch down at the Institute. Then she does it on a Wednesday.
Well, thank you, Terry pet. Delicious. Oh, you're lucky boy to have such a talented mother. You must bring the recipe up to the house sometime.
Perhaps I could bring Mother and then she could show you how to bake it.
Oh, I'm sure that'd be lovely, dear, sometime.
Look, Winnie, I hope you don't mind, but me and the lads here, well, we was wondering what you intend to do with the business now that Darra'S no longer with us.
Yeah, well, I have been giving the matter a lot of thought, of course, since Darra'S' sad demise. Now, you may not know this, but the business was very near bankrupt when my Darra, God rest his soul, took over from his father. The old man hadn't been well for a number of years, as you probably knew, Gladwin. Anyway, Darra turned the business round and made it the success it is today. In fact, it's so successful, I've had an absolutely bloody fantastic offer from Jimmy Musgrove.
Musgroves? You're thinking of selling out to them? Well, they're our main competition, Winnie. I don't understand.
Oh, now don't be alarmed, boys. I'm sure Jimmy will keep you on.
Keep us on? You've no idea, have you? Musgroves buy all their coffins in. They don't have any carpenters.
Oh, well, I'm sure Jimmy will find you something.
Find us something? We're all time-served carpenters, Mrs. Driscoll. Now, Gladwin here has more than 40 years' experience. What do you think they'll find for us? A bit of sweeping up, perhaps, like Terry here? Or the odd laying out, maybe? Or perhaps we could dig the bloody holes up in the cemetery?
OK, Tom, let's calm down a bit. Look, Winnie, Dad and me, we go back a long way. This place is in my blood. Oh, I know I've only got a few years to go, but Tom here and Terry, of course, they're young men with commitments.
Then let us make an offer. I've got a bit put by, and Gladwin here must have a bit put aside for a rainy day.
What's any to you? Don't be silly, Bear. Got a couple of million, have you? Stashed away in your little semis somewhere?
You stuck-up cow. You don't give a toss for us or the business, no. All you were ever interested in was getting your hands on poor Darra'S money and who you could get your leg over next.
Don't you fucking speak to me like that. And you're a fine one to talk anyway. From what I've heard, your missus ain't above putting it about a bit.
Oh, you nasty bitch.
Winnie, are you all right? Can you hear me? It's Gladwin. Oh, bloody hell, Tom, I reckon you've done for her.
Christ, you mean she's dead? Oh, no, she can't be. I only gave her a little shove. Oh, what we going to do, Gladwin?
I don't think there's a lot we can do, boy. I mean, look at her. Not a flicker from them false eyelashes.
Are they not real, Mr. Evans? Mrs. Driscoll's eyelashes?
No, Terry. How many people do you know with eyelashes that long?
Never mind her bloody eyelashes. Oh, wake up, you dozy cow. Wake up. I didn't mean none of that about the money and Darra. I'm sure you only got interest at heart. Oh, come on, Winnie, stop pitting about, will you? Christ, I think you're right, Gladwin. I've murdered the old tart. Oh, what are we going to do?
We'll call the police. Tell them it was an accident, that she had a heart attack and fell down dead.
Police? You can't call the police. They never believe us. They have the forensic something teams, don't they? I mean, I've seen them on Frost. They drag us all down the police station and interrogate us until one of us cracks under the pressure. That's how they do it, Glad. Oh, God, I can't go to jail, Gladwin. All those butch blokes in the showers.
Oh, come on, boy. I think you're rather exaggerating the situation in prisons.
I don't give a shit about the present situation in prisons, boyo. I just want out of here. If there's nobody that can't accuse me of killing her, can they? Meaning, I won't have to go to prison. Have you got it?
And how do you propose to get her out of here, then? Walk her out to her car and wave her goodbye?
Well, no, of course not. But there has to be a way. Oh, come on, Glad, you're supposed to be the brainy one.
We could do like with the babies.
What's that you said, Boyle?
Like they did with the babies. In the coffins. In a poor country. I can't remember the name of it now, but I think it began with an A.
Shut up, Terry, and get back to your sweeping.
No, hang on a minute, Terry. You got some sort of idea for getting Winnie out of here?
Don't know I want to tell you now. What with Tom sneering at me and everything.
I weren't sneering at you, great clobhopper.
All right, never mind all that. If you thought a way of spiriting Mrs. Driscoll out of here, Terry, I think you should tell us.
2 together.
2 what together? Oh, what are you rambling on about?
Why don't you put Mrs. Driscoll in old Miss Bailey's coffin over there, and after you fetch Miss Bailey's body from the morgue tomorrow, we stick her in on top of poor Mrs. Driscoll. Miss Bailey wasn't no bigger than a sparrow, so they should both fit inside. What do you reckon, Mr. Evans?
Bloody hell, boy, where did all that come from?
My granddad read me a story once about this family in a poor country and their kiddies dying because they had a lot on account of them being Catholic or something. Like that anyway. To save on the cost of burials, they waited till several of them had died and then they put them all in one coffin. Saved on the funeral costs, see? So I thought if...
OK, son, we get the drift.
Well, yeah, I mean, it might work, though. Now, what do you think, Gladwin?
Well, yes, I suppose it could, but I still reckon our best chance is to tell the police she had a heart attack.
No, please, Glad, no, coppers. Let's do what old Terry says and put her in with Miss Bailey's coffin. It's her funeral tomorrow, and with it being a cremation, there won't be anything left of either of them.
And what happens when no one can find Winnie? Have you thought of that one? What about that sister of hers, Beryl, isn't it? She's going to find it mighty peculiar that her sister just disappears off the face of the earth. Especially when she was in the middle of negotiations with Musgroves about selling the business.
OK, it might look a bit odd, but everybody knows Winnie's did a lot of daft things on impulse. For all anyone knows, she could have met some bloke and gone to live with him in New Zealand or somewhere like that.
And when the police search her house, they'll find her clothes gone, will they? And her passport, and she's cancelled the gas and electric. And what about that car of hers standing outside? She's hardly been likely to just leave that there if she would...
We could burn the house, goes home, has a few drinks, downs her sorrows, put the chick pack on for a bit of a comfort eating, and whoosh! Winnie's burnt to a cinder. End of story.
Oh, great idea. So now we add arson to covering up her murder, do we?
Oh, bloody hell, Gladwin. Stop putting obstacles in the way, will ya? Main thing is to get the old trout out of here. And we can think of what to do after that, OK?
Well, if you're dead against calling the police, I can't see any other way round the problem.
Thank goodness for that. Now, Terry, come and give me an hand to move her into the coffin.
No, I don't think I could touch a dead body, Tom. I remember when my Uncle Sid died and they had him laid out in the front parlour. Mother wanted me to go in and kiss him for one last time as a mark of respect, but I couldn't do it. Mother was ever so annoyed.
Oh, Christ, Terry, stop your whinging, will you? That someone would walk through the door at any moment and see Winnie dead amongst the wood shavings. So come on, give us a hand to shift her.
We can't leave her face down like that, Tom. It ain't decent.
And who's going to know she's face down, you idiot? Vicar's not going to sneak and look before he sends the coffin on its way, right? Right, pass me the lid.
Hello, are you there, Mr. Evans?
It's Miss Blackburn.
Stay where you are and I'll get rid of her.
What? If she wants to come in?
Then I'll have to stop her, won't I? Yes, Miss Blackburn, can I help you?
Why is this door locked, Mr. Evans?
Locked, Miss Blackburn?
That's what I said, Mr. Evans. Company rules state that the joinery shop should be accessible at all times during normal working hours.
Well, yes, but the thing is, you see...
Look, I haven't got time to stand here listening to any excuses. Have you got Mrs. Driscoll in there with you?
No, she's not here, Miss Blackburn.
Are you quite sure? I distinctly remember seeing her come in, and her car is still in the car park.
Yeah, well, you see, she had a little tipple for the grief, you understand, so we thought it best she took a taxi home.
I sincerely hope you haven't been bringing alcoholic beverages into the workplace, Mr. Evans. You know how Mr. Driscoll was most particular about that sort of thing.
No, of course, Miss Blackburn, and we'd never bring anything remotely alcoholic to work. But you see, the thing is, Terry here had a bottle of sherry for his mother. She's not been feeling too well lately on account of a bad back, and anyway, we could see how upset Mrs. Driscoll was, so he kindly offered her a glass to settle her nerves.
Yes. Well, I've never heard of sherry being used for bad backs. But of course I'm probably not au fait with the latest medical techniques. So yes, I suppose you did the right thing this time.
And as for the locked door, Miss Blackburn, well, the thing is we're working on poor Mr. Driscoll's coffin, and Mrs. Driscoll, sentimental person that she is, well, she didn't want anyone to see it before the funeral. You're a sentimental person yourself, Miss Blackburn, you'll understand.
Yes, I can see how she wouldn't want members of the public wandering in and disturbing your work. He was a fine man, you know, principled and honest as the day is long. How he came to marry such a horse. Anyway, we'll say no more about it.
Thank you, Miss Blackburn. What was it, by the way, that you wanted Mrs. Driscoll for?
Oh yes, there was a call for her from Mr. Musgrove. Something about a proposition, I think he said. Anyway, I said I'd pass on the message.
Thank you, Miss Blackburn. I'll be sure to tell Mrs. Driscoll.
Are you sure I could give her a ring?
No, that's fine. I pass her house on the way home.
Well, if you're sure, Mr. Evans, that would be most kind.
God, that was a close one. Look, come on, Terry, let's get this lid screwed down before any more visitors.
Look, you go and make us a coffee, Tom. I'll help the lad with the lid.
I know I came up with the idea about the coffin, Mr. Evans, but it ain't right, us doing this. My mum says killing is an act against God.
I know, and in a way your mum's right, boyo, but we can't let Tom go to prison now, can we? What about his wife and the baby they're going to have next year?
I thought Tom said his wife didn't like children.
No, well, you know women always changing their minds. Nothing's definite yet, of course, but if it was, we couldn't leave her to bring up a child on her own, now could we? It wouldn't be right, would it?
Mum brought me up when my dad went.
Yeah, but you were nearly a young man then, weren't you? Able to help your mum. Child couldn't do anything, could it?
No, I suppose not. She don't drink sherry.
Sorry?
My mother. She don't drink sherry.
Very commendable of her, boyo.
What if the police ask her?
Ask her what?
About the sherry I was taking home for her.
Right, well, if by the remotest chance they do ask, what is your mother's tipple?
Tea.
No, you pillock. What wine or spirit does she like?
She won't have anything alcoholic in the house. Says it's the devil's drinking.
Look, it doesn't matter what she really drinks. The police aren't going to go round and look, are they?
They might want to see the sherry bottle and the glass Mrs. Driscoll used.
Bloody hell, Terry. Right, look, we tell them that you very kindly let Mrs. Driscoll take it home with her, OK? As for the blooming glass, there won't be much use to him anyway, the way you nearly scrubbed the pattern off everything you put in the sudsy water, now will it?
And what about the taxi driver?
What about the bloody taxi driver?
When they want to know his name?
Oh, bloody hell, Terry, where's all this coming from? You been reading a lot of detective stories or something?
I was just wondering, that's all.
Then we say we can't remember, don't we? Have you looked through Yellow Pages lately? There's dozens of frigging taxi firms.
I suppose there are.
Look, how many more times do I have to say? Without a body and no real evidence to prove there is one, what can the police do? Nothing. So please, be yourself and stop thinking, will you?
My granddad was cremated.
Good, I'm very pleased for him. Now we don't mind.
Funny stuff it was. Mum said it was ground up bone. You never guess what they found in it, Mr. Evans, when my mum opened up the casket.
I can't imagine, boyo.
Ass keys.
What do you mean, house keys?
That's what my mum found in the ashes. Granddad's ass keys.
Oh my God.
What is it?
Winnie, how did she get here?
We put her in there, but I don't see.
No, how did she get here?
Oh, in her car.
And what do you need to drive a car?
Car key, but
Exactly, car keys.
I still don't see.
Metal doesn't burn, does it? So unless we get 'em off Winnie, them keys will end up in the bleeding urn for all to see.
They could be in her handbag.
Did you see a handbag, Boyle? Did you, Tom? No, because she didn't have one with her, that's why. Come on, we've got to go through her pockets.
Oh no. You ain't getting me to go through no dead person's pockets.
Fine, we just leave 'em then, shall we? Let his reverence find them and hand them over to Miss Blackburn.
So, he hands them over to Miss Blackburn, then what?
Because then, Boyle, when she recognises them as Winnie's car keys, because Winnie quite often asked Miss Blackburn to get stuff out of her car for her, what will she do? I'll tell you what she'll do. She'll make straight for the joiner's shop, and she'll want a good explanation as to why Mrs. D's car keys found their way into Miss Bailey's coffin. So come on, let's find the damn things.
Oh, it ain't going to work. I should have listened to Terry's daft idea.
Stop snivelling, Boyle, and give us a hand. It's no good. I can't reach her pockets while she's lying on her stomach. We're going to have to get her out of the coffin.
Get her out of the coffin? We can't do that. We've only just got her in there. Oh, it's no good, lad. We're not clever enough. Another slip-up and we'll be down the cop shop quicker than Winnie got her knickers off.
For heaven's sake, Tom, get a grip, will you? Look, this is what you wanted, isn't it? Pull this off and that'll be the end of it. Now come on, let's get her on the floor. Tom, you grab her legs. When I say lift, lift.
Oh.
Are you ready? Lift!
What now, Glad?
How about taking her around the town, perhaps call in 1 or 2 pubs and leave her on the town hall steps? Put her down on the floor, for God's sake. Face up. I think I found something.
Well, your hand has. It's her breast. Now, what about the keys?
Got 'em. They're in her blouse.
Oh, quick, let's get her back in the coffins for Pete's sake.
Hang on a minute. What about the rings and necklace? I can't believe we forgot these. Christ, we do this sort of thing every bloody day. OK, lower her into the coffin. Ready?
What? Who the hell is that? Even Miss Blackburn should have gone home by now.
Quiet, whoever it is might go away.
Are you in there, lads? It's me, Billy.
It's Billy!
I know, I'm not bloody deaf, boyo.
Shall I let him in, Mr. Evans?
Is that you, Terry, lad?
Get the bloody lid on, quick. Put it on top and sit on it.
It ain't.
Just do it. Just a minute, Billy, lad.
What's with the locked door then, Cock? We've not got a female stashed away somewhere, have we?
How did you know?
I wish we had, Billy, lad. How are you coping, boyo?
Nightmares, old Cock. Every night the same. I dread going to sleep, and no mistake. Miss Beryl's taken to keeping in the spare bedroom, which is no fun, I can tell you, because a man still has his urges, if you know what I mean.
I'm sorry to hear that. About the nightmares, I mean.
Your mother had nightmares. I hear her sometimes, moaning and calling out this bloke's name over and over.
Do you think you'll be coming back to work soon?
Doubt it, old Cock. Although the doc says I ought to get back behind the wheel of the hearse ASAP, you know. Like when you fall off a horse and break your neck, it's best to get back on the horse as soon as you're able to, like.
Could it be a bit difficult, that, Billy, with a broken neck?
What?
Oh, Tom's just teasing you, Billy. It's nice to see you. We all hope you'll be back driving the old hearse again.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, old Cock, because that's why I called in. Now that Mr. D's gone, rest his soul, where does that leave us all? I can't see Mrs. D taking over, can you? Too busy in other directions, if you know what I mean. Isn't that her car in the car park, by the way?
Yes, it is. She left it there and took a taxi home.
Taxi? That must be a first. Why should she do that then?
Well, I think it was to see the coffin. Darra'S coffin. When she brought in our wages, upset her, as you can imagine. Anyway, Terry here had a bottle of gin.
Sherry, Mr. Evans.
A sherry, that's right. Terry was taking home for his mother for a bad chest.
Oh, you said it was for her back.
Back. Oh, yes, back, that's right. Anyway, he could see how upset Mrs. D was, so he offered her a glass to steady her nerves. Well, you know what she's like, Billy, so after the 3rd glass, we thought it best she went home in a taxi.
Doesn't sound like Mrs. D to me. Remember last Christmas, Gladwin? 10 rum and cokes to my knowledge, and next thing you know, she's gunning that bloody great car of hers up the driveway like she would Jensen bloody Button.
Well, she was always a bit hot-headed. She was all for driving home, of course, but we persuaded her it wouldn't look right, you know, being done for drink driving a few days before her husband's funeral.
Nice she's got someone like you looking out for her, me old cock. Now, about our jobs, what do you reckon? Will she take me back on when I'm fit again, do you reckon?
I reckon she'll see we're okay. In fact, she did intimate that before she got a bit pissed that we needn't worry about our jobs and you'd slot back into your old driving job, so there you are.
Well, I hope you're right, cock.
I'm sure I am, Billy. Now, if you don't mind, only we are rather busy.
Well, if you hear anything, will you let me know, won't you? Only Beryl's whittling about me losing the job. What with us just having bought one of them plasma TVs on the HP. You should see the picture, Glad.
Well, you'll be the first to know after us, boyo.
Bye, lads. Oh, before I forget, double up in the 3:30 at Newmarket.
Dead, sir.
Thanks. Bye, Billy.
Bye, Billy.
I reckon that's enough for one day. Let's get out of here before we have to do any more explaining.
I just hope everything goes smoothly, that's all.
Don't worry, nothing can possibly go wrong, you'll see. Put the lights out, will you, Terry? Close that bloody door, Tommy's enough to freeze the nuts of a squirrel out there this morning.
Oh, I don't know about you, Glad, but I didn't sleep a bloody week last night.
Oh, I must admit there's a bit of tossing and turning going on.
Do you reckon she's been all right overnight, Glad?
I'll ask her, shall I? See if she's not been too cramped or afraid of the dark. She's dead, you pillock. Or have you forgotten?
No, sorry, Glad. Oh, I'm just so wound up. I'll not be happy till we get her out of here.
Morning, Mr. Evans. Mr. Holme.
I thought you were under all that camouflage, Terry.
Mum says I've got to wear several layers when it's extra cold, Mr. Evans. She says you never see Eskimos with a runny nose, does you?
Can't see I've seen many Eskimos round these parts, Terry lad, runny noses or otherwise.
I think it was when she went up to the Arctic.
You're saying your mother's been up to the Arctic? Was it with the Shackleton expedition?
I don't think so, Mr. Evans, because they went to the Antarctic.
Sorry, lad, I stand corrected.
She won this competition in a woman's magazine. She had to make up a new slogan for a new Swiss roll. One of the big bakery firms are bringing out.
Must have been quite a journey at your mum's age.
Oh no, Mr. Evans. It was before I was born. She used to do a lot of competitions. You'll think you're at the North Pole when you bite into your new Arctic roll. That's the slogan she sent in for the competition.
Perhaps there weren't many entries.
What are we doing today, Mr. Evans?
Oh, bloody hell, can you remember what happened yesterday?
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, because I promised Mum, but... Well, I got home last night, and I found she put the cat in the tumble dryer.
I know I'm going to regret this, but why did your mother put a cat in the tumble dryer, boyo?
No, she thought it was her first doll, Mr. Evans. Very fond of that first doll, she is. Wears it everywhere she goes, even in the summer.
The cat, Terry.
Sorry, Mr. Evans? Well, Thumper, that's the cat. Well, she's been out of sorts lately. You know, a bit like not moving about much. And what with Mother's eyes not being as good as they was. That's why I was a bit late on account of me having to take the whiskers to the vet.
Look, never mind the bloody cat. Look, can we just get Winnie out of it ASAP, please?
Oh, yeah, I remember now. Mr. Holme killed Mrs. Driscoll.
I did not kill her, you idiot. She fell down and banged her head. Like Gladwin said, it were probably a heart attack or something.
Okay, keep your voice down. The main thing, as you said, Tom, is to get her out of the workshop and into that bloody crematorium as soon as possible.
And the sooner the friggin' better.
Right, first of all, we'll all go and get Miss Bailey from the morgue, like arranged. Then we bring her back here, make sure the coast is clear, and then stick her on top of Winnie. Thank goodness Mrs. B was a skinny old bird. There'll be plenty of room for them both. Now about that tea.
Coming up, Mr. Evans.
Good morning, Mr. Evans.
Good morning, Miss Blackburn. What do we owe this early morning pleasure?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know how busy you all must be, but I've had a call this morning from the Inland Revenue asking, in light of poor Mr. Driscoll's demise, if I'd kindly do an inventory of the company's assets. So I thought I'd start in the workshop, if that's all right, Mr. Evans.
Well, yes, of course, Miss Blackburn. What is it you actually want to invent?
Oh, nothing too onerous, Mr. Evans. Apparently I've got to check things like work tools, stocks of timber, coffin handles, things like that.
Oh, right, that'll be fine, Miss Blackburn.
And of course I need to check the coffins.
The coffins, Miss Blackburn?
Yes, quite straightforward, really. I just need to count the number we have in stock.
Just count the number of coffins we have in stock. No problem, Miss Blackburn. I'm sure young Terry here can show you round.
And of course I will have to have a quick look inside the coffins. See if there's any expensive linings inside, things like that.
Inside?
Yes, of course, we must account for every item of value on the premises. Is there a problem, Mr. Evans?
No, not at all, Miss Blackburn. Unfortunately, we have a rush collection job on this morning, which needs all of us, and as you know, Miss Blackburn, we can't let you wander around the workshop on your own. You know, health and safety, you understand?
I quite understand, Mr. Evans. We can't fall foul of the health and safety rules. Goodness me, no.
I could stay, Mr. Evans, if it will help Miss Blackburn.
That's very good of you, Terry, but as I told you and Tom here this morning, we really do need to get all three of us on this collection.
Sorry, Mr. Evans, I must have missed that when you were telling us about Mrs. Driscoll.
Mrs. Driscoll, Mr. Evans?
Yes, Miss Blackburn, I was just saying...
You were telling us how lucky we were to have Mrs. Driscoll at the head of the firm, weren't you, Gladwin? Now that poor Mr. Driscoll is no more. God rest his soul.
Yes, that's right, Tom. Very lucky.
Yes, well, Mr. Driscoll will be sadly missed. As for Mrs. Driscoll, well, we'll just have to wait and see, shall we?
Quite so, Miss Blackburn. Just wait and see, yes, indeed.
Anyway, thank you, Terry, for the offer, but I can always pop back later. What time do you think you'll be back, Mr. Evans?
Back, Miss Blackburn? I'm not sure. Lots of roadworks around the ring road. Then there's all the paperwork to do. Old Jack up at the mortuary's not as quick as he used to be, and of course he'll have to nip into Simpson's and give the hearse a good wash and polish.
Good heavens, Mr. Evans, if I didn't know you better, I'd say you were trying to put me off my little inspection.
Put you off, Miss Blackburn? Good Lord, no. You know I've always been more than 100% cooperative when it comes to helping you, dear lady. Remember the Christmas party when you got, what shall we say, a little tipsy and tried to snog poor Mr. Driscoll behind the bandstand, and I had to divert Mrs. Driscoll?
Yes, well, the less you said about that, the better, Mr. Evans. So you'll give me a ring on the internal phone when you get back, Mr. Evans, and I'll pop over straight away. Don't want to get in the bad books of the Inland Revenue, do we?
No, indeed not, Miss Blackburn. Thank you for being so understanding.
That's quite all right. Good morning, Mr. Evans.
And a very good morning to you, Miss Blackburn.
Oh, I forgot to ask, Mr. Evans. Talking of Mrs. Driscoll, have you heard anything from her?
Mrs. Driscoll? No, I don't think. Have we heard anything from Mrs. Driscoll, boys?
No, not a word, Gladwin.
Terry?
I don't think I have I, Mr. Evans?
If you say you haven't, Terry, I'm sure you haven't. So there you have it, Mrs. Blackburn. Not a word, I'm afraid.
Strange. She usually gives me a call first thing in the morning to see if everything is all right. Perhaps I'll give her a ring to see if she's not ill or anything.
Yes, you do that, Miss Blackburn. Probably gone to see a solicitor or something like that.
Well, I suppose she could have done something like that, although I doubt, not without telling me. Anyway, I must get on. I'll see you later, Mr. Evans.
I look forward to it, Miss Blackburn. Good morning.
That was close, Gladwin. We have been good and sunk if she had managed to look inside old Mrs. B's coffin.
And what were you doing, Terry? I could stay, Mr. Evans. It would help Miss Blackburn. Blimey, boy, what have you got for brains under the mop of hair of yours? A pan of mushy peas?
I don't like my mushy peas, Mr. Evans. Mum says I stink the house out after.
Oh, I don't want to hear about your wind problems, boyo. I sometimes think I'd like to cram you into one of those coffins, nail the lid down tight and post you off to outer Mongolia.
Look, never mind that, Gladwin. What are we going to do about poor old Winnie? We can't have Mrs. Bossy Boots coming back and sticking her nose in Mrs. B's coffin, now can we?
All right, look, what time is Miss B's funeral?
3:30.
Right, so we go and pick Mrs. B up from the mortuary, sneak her back here just before 2. Using the old back road, we stick her in with Winnie, and then without telling Miss Blackburn we're back, we drive straight off to the crematorium. Service over, we drive back here, I ring Miss B and tell her we're back, she comes to inspect the workshop, and bingo, we're in the clear.
How can you be so sure she won't see us when we bring Mrs. B back from the mortuary?
Because I happen to know that after her lunch she takes a quick nap between 1:45 and 2:15.
How do you know that, Mr. Evans?
Because, Terry lad, I popped into the office one day about 10 to 2, something to do with the timesheets, and there she was, spark out on that sofa thing she's got in the relatives' room. I was just about to tiptoe out when she wakes up, all apologetic, says it's a lunch hour and she always has a little shut-eye, but she wouldn't like Mr. Driscoll to hear about it in case he thought she was getting too old for a job, so naturally I said she could rely on my discretion.
Well, I hope you're right, Gladwin.
Oh, look, lad, stop worrying. Everything will be just fine.
I'm still worried about Winnie just disappearing. It might be okay for a day or so, but what's going to happen then? No one's going to believe she just disappeared before her husband's funeral, are they? Especially the police.
Yes, I've been thinking about that, and I reckon Winnie's going to give me a call on my phone at home.
How's she going to do that, Mr. Evans, when she's dead?
Well, she isn't actually going to ring me, Terry. That's what I tell Miss Blackburn. Or anyone else who comes snooping around.
And what does Winnie tell you in this phone call, Glad?
Well, she's very distraught, in floods of tears. I have to tell her to calm down and tell me what's the matter. Anyway, she sniffles a bit into her hanky.
Can we get on with what the call is about?
Yes, sorry. Well, the gist of it is she says she can't go through with going to the funeral. She says she thinks she's on the verge of a nervous breakdown and that she's got to go away for a few days in order to face the gruelling months ahead.
Oh, what gruelling months ahead?
Well, basically getting to grips with running the firm now her beloved husband is no longer at the helm. I don't mention that she's thinking of selling to Musgroves, of course.
And what if Musgroves calls?
If they ring up asking to speak to Winnie, Miss Blackburn will tell them, sorry, but Mrs. Driscoll is not contactable at the moment, and she'll ring them the minute she gets back. Musgroves won't want to mention anything about a proposed buyout to Miss Blackburn. You know, sensitive information, all that sort of thing.
Okay, so Winnie says she's going away for a short break. Then what?
Well, then I tell Miss Blackburn about the call, tell her I tried to dissuade Winnie from going, but she was having none of it, and when Miss Blackburn asks me where she's gone, I say I'm sorry, but I've no idea.
Bloody longest short break in history, this one will be.
Well, Uncle Ernest did disappear in tricks. He once made my pet rabbit disappear. Trouble was, something went wrong and I never saw Floppy again.
Haven't you got any sweeping up to do, Terry?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Evans.
So what happens when she doesn't come back after this fictitious short break? It will only be a matter of time before Miss Bossy Boots in the office starts asking questions, and when she doesn't get any satisfactory replies, she'll call the police.
So what? I'll tell them all I know, the phone call, me trying to dissuade her, me telling Miss Blackburn about it. Look, Tom, don't worry. As long as they haven't got a body, what can they prove?
Suppose you're right.
Of course I am. Now come on, you two, let's go and get Mrs. Bailey from the mortuary. OK, lads, let's put her down beside the coffin.
Thank goodness we've made it back without being seen.
What did I tell you? Our Miss Blackburn will be dreaming of steamy sex among the coffins with poor old Darra.
Would you like a cuppa, Mr. Evans?
I would certainly murder one, Terry lad, but I think we'd better get Mrs. B stowed safely away in her coffin first.
Right you are, Mr. Evans. Hello, Miss Blackburn. I thought you was dreaming of Mr. Driscoll.
Terry just having his little joke, Miss Blackburn. How can we help you?
Good news, Mr. Evans. Oh dear, is that poor Miss Bailey?
Indeed, Miss Blackburn. We were just about to transfer her to a coffin.
Well, don't let me stop you, Mr. Evans.
No, that's all right, Miss Blackburn. We don't want to hold you up from your important duties. Was there something you wanted?
Oh, yes. Well, you know how we thought Miss Bailey had no relatives? Well, about 15 minutes ago, I was working... That's what I was doing, a little paperwork in the office, when I had a phone call from a Mr. Langford to say that he'd just found out about Miss Bailey's death. And guess what, Mr. Evans?
I can't imagine, Miss Blackburn.
It turns out that Mr. Langford is Miss Bailey's second cousin. He's been living abroad for a number of years and has only just returned to the UK, so that's strange.
That's absolutely amazing, Miss Blackburn. So will he be going to the funeral this afternoon?
Not only that, Mr. Evans, he's asked if he can come round and see Miss Bailey laid out in her coffin. He's not seen her for 15 years and apparently he'd like to pay his respects to her face to face, so to speak.
See her in a coffin? Oh, I don't know, Miss Blackburn. I don't think we have the time.
Don't you worry about that, Mr. Evans. I've had a word with the vicar and he's kindly arranged with the crematorium to put the funeral back 1 hour. There was only going to be the matron and a couple of carers from the home going to be there, and they've been told of the new arrangements.
And when will this Mr...
Langford?
Yes, Langford. When will he be coming to see the late Miss Bailey?
He said he'd be here in 15 minutes, so I'll leave you to pop Miss Bailey in her coffin ready for Mr. Langford to pay his respects.
But we can't possibly get her ready in 15 minutes, Mrs. Blackburn.
Now, Mr. Hillman, are you forgetting the Driscoll motto? We go the extra mile to put you away in style.
Bloody mottos.
Did you say something, Mr. Hillman?
I'm sure we'll manage, Miss Blackburn, won't we, lads?
Yes, lad.
Good, I'll leave you to it then. Just ring me when everything is ready.
No problem, Miss Blackburn. You leave it to us.
Bloody hell, Glad. What are we going to do now? We can't stick the old biddy on top of Winnie, can we? And there isn't time to move Winnie out and put her somewhere else, is there?
Right, you and Terry go and get that spare coffin out of the back room, quick as you can.
Then what?
Then we pop Miss B in the spare coffin, let this Langford chap take a look at her. Then when he's gone, we pop her on top of Winnie, take the coffin up to the creme, and job done, OK?
Look at the size of it, Glad. It's about a foot longer than the one Winnie's in.
It's got the same coloured handles, Mr. Holme.
Oh, that's all right then. All we got to do is to chop a foot off the end and hope Miss Eagle Eyes doesn't notice.
OK, so we put the coffin in the darkest corner of the room. Miss Blackburn will be gushing so much over Miss Bailey's long-lost relative, she won't notice the coffin's a bit larger.
A bit larger? You could get 2 Miss Baileys in there, end to end.
Look, unless you've got a better idea, stop whining. Now let's get Miss Bailey in the coffin before Miss Blackburn and this bloke come over.
Christ, look at her, Glad. Her feet hardly come halfway down the blooming coffin.
Terry, go and get some of that heavy silk material we keep in the stockroom cupboard.
Right, Mr. Evans.
What are you going to do then, Glad?
We'll cover her from her neck down to the bottom of the coffin. That way nobody will know the coffin's the wrong size. Right, quick lads, get it into place. Perfect. She looks right peaceful and comfy in there. What do you reckon, boys?
Suppose she does.
Right, yes, that's fine, Miss Blackburn. We'll see you in a minute then. All right, lads, they're on their way. Now remember, stay calm. And Terry, keep your gob shut, OK?
Whatever you say, Mr. Evans.
Mr. Evans, I'd like you to introduce you to Mr. Langford. Mr. Langford is so looking forward to see his cousin, aren't you, Mr. Langford?
Indeed I am, dear lady.
I am sorry for your loss, Mr. Langford.
Oh, thank you. I've seen very little of her over the last 20 years, what with me travelling abroad a great deal. But I'll always remember her as a little lady who was always laughing and cheerful.
Yes, well, I wouldn't say she was all that little, would you, Miss Blackburn?
Well, she was.
Yes, well, I'm sure Mr. Langford is anxious to see the dear lady. Isn't that right, Mr. Langford?
Oh, well, yes, I suppose.
I'll leave you with her, Mr. Langford. I'm sure you'd like a few private moments with the dear lady.
Excuse me, Mr. Evans, but isn't that rather a dark corner?
Indeed it is, Miss Blackburn. In fact, I've been meaning to have a word with you about the lighting. Perhaps you could have a word with Mrs. Driscoll, see if you can't get an electrician in.
Oh, I don't know about that, Mr. Evans. Money is a little tight at the moment. Perhaps after the funeral.
Very kind of you, Miss Blackburn.
I'm so glad we found someone for the poor lady. So much nicer at the funeral to have someone near and dear.
That's what we were saying, wasn't it, lads? Very comforting.
Oh, yes, we were. Very comforting.
I must say, she does look very peaceful. One might almost say angelic in that gorgeous silk robe. Oh, was that your idea, Mr. Evans?
Yes, well, I thought it suited the dear lady, Mr. Langford.
Well, I must say, it's a very nice gesture, Mr. Evans. Very nice indeed.
Silk robe, Mr. Evans? I don't...
Yes, well, I'm sure you'll want to be getting off now, Mr. Langford. Prepare for the funeral and everything. Let me show you to the door.
Oh, well, yes, I suppose I'd better be... Oh, thank you, dear lady, for arranging this visit. Most kind.
Oh, no trouble at all. I'm only sorry the visit was for such a sad occasion.
And goodbye to you too, Mr. Evans. A very worthwhile job you're doing, if I may say so.
I'll see you after the funeral, Mr. Evans. The infantry?
I'll look forward to it, Miss Blackburn. Right, lad, let's get Miss Bailey in with Winnie.
Hang on a minute, lad. Surely Mr. Langford's going to notice the difference in coffins?
Oh, blimey, you're right. OK, we put Winnie in with Miss Bailey. Unless, of course, you've got any better ideas.
I tell you what, lad. When this is over, I'm putting in for a holiday leave and getting as far from this workshop as possible.
Oh, that's all we need. Answer that, will you, Terry?
Yes, sir. Now, I'll tell Mr. Evans, Miss Blackburn. Thank you. That was Miss Blackburn. She says there's a detective coming to see you, Mr. Evans.
A detective? Oh, they twig us glad the game's up. Oh, I'm going to be banged up with those big hairy nonces. I'll never be able to take a shower.
Just take a jar of Vaseline in with you, you'll be fine.
Well, thanks for your support, lad.
Look, we don't know what they want, and if it is about Winnie, we just stick to the story, right? She came to give us our wages. We drank to the memory of Darra'S with a bottle of sherry Terry got for his mum, but poor Winnie had a couple too many, so we called a taxi to take her home, and that's the last we saw of her.
Oh, God, why did I hit her? I didn't mean to, Glad. I only meant to give her a little tap and to show her how annoyed we were.
Good afternoon. I'm Inspector Turner. Which one of you gentlemen is Gladwin Evans?
That would be me, officer. How can I help you?
Do you know a Winnie Driscoll, sir?
I knew it.
I beg your pardon, sir.
Sorry.
I thought you said I knew it.
No, Inspector. I said I knew her. Know her. Mrs. Driscoll, that is.
Right, sir. Now, Mr. Evans, Mrs. Driscoll, did you know her, sir?
Yes, of course, Inspector. She is, or was the wife of the owner, Mr. Darra'S Driscoll.
Quite so, sir. I understand he met with a nasty accident involving one of your hearses.
Indeed. Very sad. A fine man.
I'm sure he was, sir. Now, about Mrs. Driscoll, I understand from Mr. Driscoll's secretary...
Former secretary, Inspector?
Yes, former secretary. I understand that she visited your workshop yesterday.
Yes, that's right, Inspector. She brought our wages and we discussed what sort of coffin she'd like for poor Mr. Driscoll.
And what happened after you'd been given your wages and discussed Mr. Driscoll's coffin?
Well, to be honest, Inspector, Terry here had a bottle of sherry he was taking home for his mother, you know, a bit of arthritis. Nothing serious, but the sherry dulls the pain. Anyway, we could see how upset Mrs. Driscoll was, so Terry kindly offered her a drop of his mother's sherry. To calm her down, you understand. The trouble was she had more than one glass in the end, so we had to order a taxi to take her home.
Do you remember the name of the taxi firm, sir?
Oh, I'm afraid I can't, Inspector, sorry.
Never mind, sir. Perhaps we'll come back to that later.
I bet you will.
Did you say something, sir?
Oh, me? No, nothing, sir. Inspector.
So, you were saying, Mr. Evans, the last time you saw Mrs. Driscoll was when she left your workshop to catch a taxi you ordered for her?
Yes, that's right, Inspector. Look, I'm sorry, but I don't know why you're asking us all these questions, and we've got a funeral to attend to, so if you don't mind...
I understand, sir, and I won't keep you much longer. You see, we have a little problem which I'm sure you can clear up.
Well, I will if I can, of course, Inspector.
You say you ordered a taxi from Mrs. Driscoll?
Yes, that's right.
About what time would that be, sir?
About, what time would you say, Tom?
It would be about 12-ish.
So let me get this right, sir. You ordered a taxi at about 12 o'clock midday, yesterday, the 15th of March, to take Mrs. Driscoll back home.
That's right, Inspector. Now, if you don't mind...
What if I told you, sir, that on the 15th of March no taxis were running because they were all on strike about new cab hire regulations?
Oh, no, that can't be right.
Oh, it's no good, Gladwin. I've got to tell him.
No, Tom.
But, you know, it was me, Inspector. I killed her, but it was an accident. I only gave her a slight push and she fell over and banged her head.
So you're saying, sir, that you pushed Mrs. Driscoll over and she fell and banged her head?
Yeah, that's right.
And can you tell me why you pushed her over, sir?
Well, we were having an argument.
What about, sir?
You might as well tell him, boyo.
She was going to sell the business to Muffgroves, who don't even make their own coffins. Well, me, Gladwin and young Terry here would have been on the scrappy. Gladwin has over 40 years with the firm. And is that all the thanks he was going to get thrown out with the bloody wood shavings? So that's why I hit her. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it, but I did it, and that's all I can say.
And where is Mrs. Driscoll now, sir?
Go on, son, you might as well tell him. But before you do, I'd just like to say, Inspector, Tom here hasn't got a vicious bone in his body. He did what he did because, well, he loves the firm like we all do.
I'm sure he does, sir. Well, sir, Mrs. Driscoll.
We're sitting on her, Inspector.
You mean she's in that coffin?
That's right, Inspector. It's the only place we could think to hide her.
In that case, sir, perhaps you'd kindly open the lid. But before you do, sir, I have to tell you that the body of a woman answering the description of Mrs. Driscoll has been found with severe head injuries outside the front door of her house.
No, that can't be right. We put her in this coffin, Inspector, last night. Well, me and Gladwin and young Terry here. So I'm afraid your body can't be Mrs. Driscoll.
Then perhaps you'd open up the coffin so I can see you're Mrs. Driscoll.
Look, Inspector, like I said, it was an accident. I didn't mean any harm. I was just so mad. Oh, my God.
Is there a problem, sir?
She's not here.
What do you mean she's not here?
The coffin is friggin' empty.
Blimey, you're right, Winnie's gone.
So you gentlemen are telling me that you put the dead body of Mrs. Driscoll in this coffin last night, and now she's gone?
That's exactly what I'm telling you, Inspector. When we locked up the workshop last night, Mrs. D was definitely in this coffin.
Perhaps it's like in the Bible, Mr. Hillman, and she's risen from the dead.
Would you like to get back to your sweeping, Terry?
Right, Mr. Evans.
So, gentlemen, how do you explain how Mrs. Driscoll got from this coffin in a locked workshop to being slumped outside her front door with half her head caved in?
Oh, my God. Oh, how is Brenda going to manage it? Be 20 years at least and all those big, hairy nonces.
Look, someone must have taken her in the night.
And why would anybody want to do that, sir?
I don't know, do I, boyo? Body snatcher, one of those people like that, you know. Doing things to dead bodies. It could be anything.
Look, all I did was to give her a slight push and she fell on the floor. Now, you're telling us she's been found miles away with half her head bashed in.
Here's how I see it, gentlemen. You, Mr. Hillman, viciously killed Mrs. Driscoll. You panicked, bundled her into one of your cars, DNA will tell us which one, and then drove to her house where you dumped her on the doorstep so she'd be as far away from the scene of the crime as possible. Is that what happened, gentlemen? And before you answer, I must warn you that anything you say may be taken down and given in evidence.
This is a bloody nightmare. We didn't take her anywhere. For the last time, Inspector, we put her in the coffin, put the lid on it, and then we all went home.
Is there anyone in that coffin, Mr. Evans?
Yes, that's Miss Bailey. Her funeral's later this afternoon. Hopefully.
Yes, well, I must remind you, gentlemen, that this is a murder inquiry which cannot be rushed. Now, you say a Miss Bailey is in that coffin. Would you mind if I had a look, sir?
No, go ahead, Inspector.
And you can swear that this is Miss Bailey, can you?
Yes, that is definitely Miss Agnes Bailey, Inspector.
And you're sure this is not Miss Winnie Driscoll?
No, Inspector, that is definitely not Mrs. Driscoll.
I'm sorry, but I have to get an independent witness who can verify that this is the lady you say it is.
Oh, bloody hell, Inspector, we've told you who it is. Isn't that enough? Can't we just get back to Mrs. Driscoll?
As you're all implicated in what we shall call for the moment the mysterious death of Mrs. Driscoll, I'm afraid your identification of the person in this coffin is not enough.
Miss Blackburn.
I'm sorry, sir?
Miss Blackburn, you met her in the office. She could identify Miss Bailey.
Could you ask her to come to the workshop then, sir?
Could you give her a ring, Terry? Ask her to pop over for a minute or two.
Whilst we're waiting, sir, have you got any other finished or partially finished coffins on the premises?
We've got a couple of finished ones in the other room.
Could one of your gentlemen kindly show me them, please?
Yes, Terry, will you show Inspector the other coffins, please?
Yeah, very well, Mr. Evans.
I must warn you, gentlemen, that any attempt to leave the building will put you in bigger trouble than you're already in.
Bloody hell, Glad. What's happening? How in God's name did Winnie end up outside her own front door with her face bashed in, for God's sake?
How should I know? Not a bloody clairvoyant or whatever you call them.
I could leg it, go abroad, change my name, become a monk. Live the rest of my life planting parsnips and feeding pigs.
Do they have pigs in monasteries?
It's all right for you. You're not going to be banged up for 20 years sharing your cell with a Graham Norton lookalike or a bloke who hasn't laid his hands on a woman for the last 10 blinking years.
The Inspector says he'd like to look round on his own, Mr. Evans.
OK, boy. Oh, look, Tom, lad, running away isn't going to solve anything. We're all in this together. We've told them the truth about what happened and we can't do any more. We put her in that coffin and that's all we know. Even if they use thumb screws on us, we won't tell them anything else because we don't know anything else, OK?
Whichever way you look at it, I killed Winnie. I should have gone to the police like you suggested. Instead, I've got you and young Terry involved. Maybe even got you a prison sentence as well. Oh, I'm truly sorry, mate. Truly sorry I am.
Oh, forget it. Perhaps if I'd not thought up the harebrained scheme about the coffins in the first place, none of us would be in this position.
Well, they use thumb screws on us, Mr. Evans.
I don't know what's happening here, Mr. Evans. The Inspector wouldn't tell me, but it seems he wants me to identify Miss Bailey, though why one of you gentlemen couldn't do it, I don't know.
Well, look, Betty, I can call you Betty, can't I? Good. Well, the fact is, the Inspector wanted to talk to you because, well, to put it bluntly, Tom here has been accused of killing Mrs. Driscoll, and Terry and I, his accomplices.
Oh, it was a silly argument about what was going to happen to the firm. I got a little angry and pushed her. Well, killed her. That's when we panicked and rather stupidly put her in Mrs. Bailey's coffin with the intention of putting Miss Bailey on top of her and then sending her off to the crematorium today. Trouble is, we just discovered that Mrs. Driscoll is no longer in the coffin and the police have found her dead, but badly beaten. Oh, well, outside her front door.
Killed? Mrs. Driscoll? By Mr. Hillman? Put her in Mrs. Bailey's coffin? Found dead outside her front door? Is this some sort of sick joke, Mr. Evans? Because I don't...
I assure you, Betty, it's not a joke. Mrs. Driscoll told us when she brought her wages that she was going to sell out to Musgroves.
Musgroves? Goodness me, that would never do.
No, quite. That's why Tom here got a little agitated and gave Mrs. Driscoll a little push. Unfortunately, she fell onto the floor and we couldn't revive her. She may have had a heart attack or something, but Tom here was convinced he'd killed her, so he hid her in the coffin. Well, the rest you know.
But I still don't understand, Mr. Evans. How did she end up outside her own front door and badly beaten up?
I wish I knew, Miss Blackburn. The whole thing has become a waking nightmare.
Well, I'm sure Inspector Taylor will sort everything out.
Just a minute, Miss Blackburn. Did you say Inspector Taylor?
That's right. Inspector Taylor from the Regional Crimes Unit.
Didn't he say his name was Inspector Turner when he first introduced himself, Glenn?
Yes, that's right, Inspector Turner. Maybe just a slip of the tongue, you know, Turner, Taylor. Did you ask to see his warrant card, Miss Blackburn?
Well, no, I'm afraid I didn't. How very remiss of me.
Ah, there you are, Miss Blackburn. Now, if you wouldn't mind...
Excuse me, Inspector, but before Miss Blackburn does that, I wonder if I could see your warrant card, please.
Warrant card? I'm sure I showed that to Miss Blackburn when I introduced myself to her in the office.
Well, no, somewhat remiss of me, but I'm afraid I didn't ask to see it.
Oh, never mind, Miss Blackburn. I'm sure the Inspector here won't mind showing it us now.
Oh, I'm sure I have it here somewhere.
Truth is, you're not a police inspector at all, are you?
No, and I'm not a dead body either. Boyos.
It's a ghost.
Bloody hell.
No dodgy cell, mate. Thank you.
Yes, it really is, me boys. Let me introduce you to Damien. Part-time thespian and dress designer to the more discerning customer.
I've heard of bent coppers, but this is ridiculous.
What the hell is going on here?
Does that mean I won't be getting the thumb screws, Mr. Evans?
Oh, shut up, boyo.
Yes, Mr. Evans.
But I killed you and we put you in the coffin. Oh, I don't understand.
I'm afraid none of you would make a good doctor. I must have just been concussed. And when I came round, it took me several seconds to realise I was inside a bloody coffin. Well, that's when I panicked and I thought, Christ, I've been buried. I'm 6 foot under on some bloody windy hillside, waiting for the worms to get their teeth into me.
I think you'll find, Mrs. Driscoll, that worms don't have teeth because...
Oh, shut up, Terry.
Yes, Mr. Hill.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Holme. So, I starts banging and kicking like mad on the lid until it comes flying off. Even then it was pitch dark and I thought, you've gone to heaven, girl. And when the sun comes up, you'll see them pearly gates waiting for you to pass through into eternal paradise.
Must have been a nasty concussion.
Anyway, I pokes my head out of the coffin, and the first thing I sees as my eyes becomes accustomed to the dark is young Terence's broom handle.
That figures.
So, straight away I realise I'm in the firm's workshop. Anyway, I climbs out of the coffin, make my way over to the door, but of course it's locked, isn't it? It's then that I remember Darra'S once telling me of the spare key he once hid in the workshop in case, well, you know, one of the lads lost the main one. Why he couldn't have hung it in the key box in the office, I don't know, but fortunately for me he didn't. Anyway, I was about to let myself out when I suddenly thought, those bastards tried to kill me. I've got to teach them a lesson. So, I found a screwdriver on the bench and I screwed the lid tight back on, let myself out, fished the spare set of car keys from one of the wheel hubs, and I drove home.
Oh, bloody hell, none of us noticed your blooming car had gone.
No, indeed, and I'm usually so... what should I say?
Nosy.
What was that, Mr. Hellman?
Alert, Miss Blackburn. I was just saying you're usually so alert.
Yes, I suppose I am. Thank you, Mr. Hillman.
So, what did you do then, Winnie, when you got home?
Well, I sat there with a large G&T, just to steady my nerves, of course, and I thought, what can I do to make those swines squirm for an hour or two? That's when I came up with the police inspector plan. Rang Damien here, explained what had happened and what I'd like him to do, and he agreed straight away.
The least I could do for such a valued customer as yourself, dear lady.
And what about Mr. Langford and the Inland Revenue? Were they your idea to throw us into more panic?
I'm afraid they sadly were nothing to do with me.
Oh no, they were genuine, Mr. Evans. And we only have 30 minutes left to get Miss Bailey to the crematorium.
Come on, lads, you better put her back in a proper coffin.
Proper coffin, Mr. Evans? I don't understand.
It's a long story, but I'll happily tell you over a coffee and a Garibaldi, Miss Blackburn. Now, come on, lads.
Before you go, lads, I've something to tell you. I was listening outside the door and, well, I now realise just how important the firm is to you, so you'll be glad to hear I'm not selling up.
Thanks, Winnie. That's a great load off our minds.
Oh yes, and I'm sorry for eating you, Winnie, and dumping you in the coffin. No hard feelings.
No hard feelings, Bob.
No, it's Tom.
Oh, of course it is, Pet.
And I can come to your house with my mother's cake recipe, Mrs. Driscoll. I'm afraid Mother can't come on account of her bad back, but I can show you how to make it if you don't mind.
Oh, I'm sure we'll manage quite well on our own, Terry lad.
In Darra'S Coffin, you heard Robert Chantler as Gladwin, Rob Day as Tom, James Ford Bannister as Terry, Sue Ford as Mrs. Driscoll, Olwen Holme as Miss Blackburn, Tim McLaughlin as Billy, Stephen Ross as the Inspector, and Robert Hardy as Mr. Langford. Darra'S Coffin was written by Roger Woodcock. It was produced by Victoria Lawrence and directed by Robert Chantler. This has been a Free Theatre Company production.